Today, we are diving deep into what might just be the biggest scam ever pulled on humanity. Seriously, it's a con so huge, so unbelievably successful that we've been living inside of it for the last 10,000 years. So let's figure out how we all got played.
You ever have that feeling? You wake up, you go to work, you pay your bills, you go to sleep, and you just kind of wonder, is this really it? Is this what millions of years of evolution was building up to? Well, if you've ever felt like you're just running on a hamster wheel, you're not wrong. In fact, that feeling is the first clue in this whole mystery.
I mean, just look at the difference. Our hunter-gatherer ancestors, they worked maybe 4 hours a day, they ate all sorts of different foods, and they were pretty chill, living in the moment. Now look at us. We work at least twice as long, we eat the same few things over and over, and we are just riddled with anxiety about the future. So what gives? How did all this progress just lead to more work and more stress? Well, the mastermind behind this whole scheme, the big villain of our story, it wasn't some evil genius or a power-hungry king. Nope, it was this, a humble plant. And the story of how wheat went from just some wild grass to the thing that basically trapped all of humanity, well, that story is the key to understanding, well, everything. But hang on, before we fell into this trap, how did we end up running the planet in the first place? What was our superpower that let us get to the top? First things first, we gotta debunk a huge myth. You know that famous picture, the one with the ape that slowly stands up taller and taller until it's a modern human? Yeah, you can go ahead and just toss that idea in the trash. The reality was a lot messier and way more interesting. See, if you rewind about 100,000 years, Earth was a pretty crowded place. There were at least 6 different human species all walking around at the same time. And here's the real kicker. We, Homo sapiens, we weren't even the top dogs. Neanderthals were stronger than us, they had bigger brains. I mean, if you put one of us and a Neanderthal in a fight, my money's on the Neanderthal every time. So how in the world did we, the scrawny underdogs, end up being the only ones left? Well, the answer seems to be this sudden, almost magical upgrade to our brains that happened around 70,000 years ago. It's called the cognitive revolution, and it gave us a superpower that no other animal and no other human had ever had before. And what was that superpower? Language. But not just any language. Sure, other animals could shout, "Watch out, a lion." But sapiens can now say stuff like this. We could gossip. And being able to share complex info about who's trustworthy and who's a cheat, that allowed us to cooperate in bigger groups, up to about 150 people. But to really take over the world, we needed one last piece of the puzzle. We started talking about things that weren't even real. We created what you can call shared stories. Basically, fictions that everyone just agrees to believe in. Think about it. You can't get a monkey to give you his banana today by promising him endless bananas in monkey heaven after he dies. It just won't work. But you can get millions of humans to cooperate and do incredible things by telling them a really good story. These stories are literally everywhere today. I mean, what is a country? It's just a shared story about some lines on a map. What is money? It's a shared story about the value of this piece of paper or numbers on a screen. These fictions are the invisible glue holding our entire civilization together. It's our greatest strength, and it's also what made us so vulnerable to the wheat scam. And this is where our story takes a really dark turn. About 10,000 years ago, we took our amazing ability to cooperate and we used it to make what might be the single worst decision in the history of our species. We call it the agricultural revolution. We're taught in school that it was this giant leap forward for humanity. But if you look at it from the perspective of the average person living through it, it was a total disaster. It wasn't a leap forward. It was a trap, and we walked right into it with our eyes wide open. I mean, the lifestyle change was just brutal. A hunter-gatherer had a great diet, all sorts of stuff. A farmer ate, well, mostly bread or porridge. Their health tanked. The workload, it went from a few hours a day to a back-breaking sunrise to sunset grind. And for the very first time, we humans became completely paralyzed with worry about the future. Will it rain? Will pests eat the crops? It was a whole new world of anxiety. So here's the punchline, the big twist. We thought we were domesticating wheat, right? Making it serve us. But from an evolutionary point of view, wheat was domesticating us. It literally tricked Homo sapiens into giving up a pretty decent life to spend all day, every day, taking care of its needs. And what did we get in return?
Sure, more food overall, but that just meant more people living worse lives. From wheat's perspective, it was a genius move. It manipulated us into spreading it all over the planet. For us, it was a terrible deal. And that deal we made, that bargain, it put us on a brand new track. We had more food and more people, which led to villages, then cities, and eventually the scientific revolution. We gained almost unimaginable power, but man, it came at a serious cost.
You can really see our whole history in 3 major acts. First, the cognitive revolution gave us our amazing minds. Then the agricultural revolution gave the group food security, but the individual lost freedom and health. And then, just 500 years ago, the scientific revolution gave us the power of gods.
Which, of course, brings us to the biggest, most uncomfortable question of all. We have all this power now. We can fly through the air, we can talk to someone on the other side of the planet, we can cure diseases our ancestors couldn't even imagine. But are we actually any happier for it? And, our success has been an absolute catastrophe for almost every other living thing on this planet. Look at this chart. It shows the total weight, the biomass of all large animals. Wild animals, the lions, elephants, whales, they're now just a tiny 4%. The vast majority is either us or the livestock we raise in factory farms. Animals whose suffering is basically the foundation of our civilization. And we're not hitting the brakes. We're now using our technology to upgrade ourselves, trying to conquer old age, even death itself. We're trying to become Homo Deus, human gods. But the scary part is, we're like gods who have absolutely no idea what we actually want. We have all this power, but very little wisdom to go with it.
So, is this whole thing just a super depressing history lesson? No, not at all. Because understanding the trap, well, that's the first step to figuring out how to escape it. So here's what you can actually do. First, learn to see the stories for what they are. The constant chase for more money, for higher status. These are just fictions. You get to decide what happiness actually means for you. Second, actively avoid the more trap. Is working that extra hour for a slightly bigger TV making you happier or just more tired? That's the wheat trap, just in a modern form. And finally, try to expand your circle of compassion beyond just us human. I want to leave you with this one last thought, because it really sticks with you. We've become gods, but we're unhappy gods. We're dissatisfied, and we don't even know what we're looking for. We have all this incredible power, but what's the point if we're still running on that same treadmill? A treadmill designed for us by a blade of grass 10,000 years ago. The real question now isn't what more we can do, but what we actually want to become.